love. This is Alyssa, the mind behind Nouriched Soul, where we heal word by word. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. This channel is all about healing from toxic relationships so that you can recognize yourself again and live life confidently. Today we're going to be talking about the 5 things I did that helped my spiritual growth during a healing journey. I am so excited to share this with you guys because I feel that spiritual growth is so important when it comes to healing your soul. So let's get into it. The first thing I learned is to destroy perfection. In order for me to have spiritual growth in my life, I had to destroy perfection. There is a saying, choose grace over perfection, and that is so true. I've learned that perfection actually robs you from grace, and when I was feeling like I needed to obtain perfection or live up to these certain standards, it honestly did not encourage me to go to God with my problems and be honest with how I was feeling or what I was dealing with. And in order to spiritually grow, you're going to have to deal with your imperfections. You're going to have to face the hard stuff, and you can't just sweep things under the rug. 2 was exercise my faith. In order to have spiritual growth, I really needed to exercise my faith. When you are healing, like, it's easy to feel angry and bitter and resentful and feeling like, everything that you did was justified and it was just injustice done to you. I get it. It could be valid. I know. But at the end of the day, I've learned that in order for me to have spiritual growth, I really needed to exercise my faith. And a part of that was really believing that my anger, my bitterness, my feeling of I was done wrong could actually be healed. Like, he could actually take that from me and make me whole again. And that is huge for spiritual growth. It's hard to actually grow spiritually if you don't feel like you could actually make your way out of where you're at currently on your healing journey. 3 was get rid of logic. Okay? If y'all don't know, I am a very, very logical, analytical person. I always have been, even as a little girl. But what I have learned for spiritual growth, you gotta get rid of logic. Logic and faith don't mix a lot of the times. I don't know about you, but me and faith were always but could you give me the whole picture? This doesn't make sense. This isn't lining up. No. In order for me to have true faith, it doesn't have to make sense all the time. I may not understand it. I may not feel like I should feel. I may not feel confident about it, but I have to trust that God will lead me and guide me. So if you're an analytical person, if you're super logical, let me know in the comments that you could relate to this. I know I'm not the only one struggling with logic and faith. With my spiritual growth, I really learned that faith will remind me of who God is, whereas logic tends to have me put 2 and 2 together, figure out my own thing. And 9 times out of 10, if I choose logic, I end up repeating that same cycle again. So we're not choosing logic. We're choosing faith over everything. 4. So for my spiritual growth, a huge factor was reading the word. I know, before you turn off, I am aware that you're like, duh, of course we gotta read the word for for spiritual growth, but it is not just reading the word like you normally do, okay? Here is what I have learned. As Christians, yes, we probably do know the word in and out. Maybe you grew up in the church like I did. You know it like your backhand. But, in order for you to spiritually grow, I have found that what you really need is to be able to apply that word and have a deep concept of what that scripture actually means so that you can apply it to your life. It's not good to just have like the knowledge base of the scripture, but it's like distant to you. Like you don't feel like it can relate to you. Like you don't know how it tangibly like fits in with your life. So what I learned is that in order for me to have spiritual growth, I really needed to read the word in the aspect of having a scripture for what I'm going through, knowing how the word tangibly affects my life, my soul, my mind, my will, my emotions, all of that good stuff. One of the sites that I use, I will link it below, as well as some other resources for spiritual growth. I'm going to link all that stuff in my description box. But I use this particular website, and it basically says, what does the Bible say about? And you type it in, and it will basically give you all of the scriptures in the Bible that pertains to what you need. So if I'm struggling with anxiety, if I'm struggling with feeling heartbroken, I would literally go type in on that site heartbroken, and it will pull up all the scriptures. That way I can use those scriptures to meditate on them, read them, say them, make affirmations out of them for myself, pray them. And then that is how it gets like concrete. That's how it gets real for me. It is not the same as just like reading your word, or like you grew up with it at the church and you know that scripture. Like it's completely different when like that scripture is like reading your life. So yeah, that's my tip for that. So when it comes to the spiritual growth, it's important that you read your word, because you have to really be comparing your thoughts with what scripture says. If you are believing something just because you heard it, or just because like that's the common Christian belief, if it's not lined up in the word itself, it is actually holding you back from spiritual growth. I really realized that I had some limiting beliefs myself that I had to deal with that was holding me back and changing my perspective of, how God sees me and how I even see God. One of my limiting beliefs, for example, was that if I am struggling with something in life, like if I am hit hard in life, it is a reflection of my relationship with God. So if something bad is happening at the time, I would think like, oh, God is upset with me. But that is a limiting belief. God's thought towards me are good. They're not of evil. So I had to really deal with that limiting belief and like realize like, sis, that's not in the Bible. 5 is prayer. Okay. I know it's one of those easy ones. You knew it was on the listing, but let me break it down for you, okay? So in order for you to experience spiritual growth in your life, you gotta pray, and pray some more. Prayer allows you to partner with God. It is not enough, like faith is great, it is, but faith without works is dead. So it is not enough for you to just have like faith sometimes for certain things. Like you really need to like pray, partner with God, get strategy on how to handle that situation, that thing. prayer is going to give you that direct connection so that you can get strategy on what you're going through, so that you can get clarity, understanding sometimes. Prayer is essential for spiritual growth. Along with prayer comes praying in tongues. If you have the heavenly language, praying in tongues is a way to intercede for the things that like you don't even know of, the subconscious things, the things you like forgot about, the things you don't understand, can't comprehend. Praying in tongues is one way to build your faith and build that connection that you have with God. These are the 5 things that I personally did that helped my spiritual growth while I was going through a healing journey. Man, without these 5 things, I would not be where I am today. I probably would still be bitter and angry and like feeling rejected. So I'm so glad that I did these 5 things, and I hope that this like encourages you to go to the next level with God and to heal your soul. If this helped you, like, comment, let me know. Would you add something to the list? I would like to know. Until next time, happy healing.